From your local election headquarters, here's Fred Childers with This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Good Sunday morning to you. I'm Fred Childers. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. All right, let's get started. A number of bills that came out of the regular legislative session are now laws in the state of Louisiana. However, two pieces of legislation that made it to the governor's desk are still causing quite a bit of controversy.
Several bills are now officially on the books, becoming law July 1st. The bill attracting national attention requires the 10 Commandments to be displayed in public classrooms in the state. Also, anyone 18 and up will be able to carry a concealed gun without a permit or training. Gun owners will still be restricted from carrying weapons in certain areas like schools, courthouses, or gun-free zones. Other laws to note include Act 3, which is an insurance reform bill that aims to address fair claims processing. Act 331 requires schools to put the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number on student ID cards. Act 312 repeals the Port Development Advisory Commission. Act 524 changes the requirements to register for the Child Abuse Neglect Registry. And finally, Louisiana becomes one of a few states to expand execution methods for death row inmates. In addition to lethal injection, the death penalty can now be administered through nitrogen gas and electrocution. The state has not carried out an execution since 2010.
All right, and as we just mentioned, as of Thursday, anyone 18 or older without a felony conviction can carry a firearm without a permit or formal training. There are some limitations, however. Deshaun Johnson has the story.
Obviously, the state of Louisiana really wants this, and I think it's time for it.
And that's what this bill is going to do. It's going to make us less safe.
Permitless concealed carry has been an ongoing conversation in the state of Louisiana. But on the 4th of July, the new law will go into effect, allowing citizens over the age of 18 and without felony charges to own a gun without a permit.
Louisiana has long recognized this right to open carry.
Many residents and businesses across Baton Rouge have been openly supportive of the law, like Louisiana Firearms, who says the bill was needed.
I think this bill is awesome. It's going to give us a lot of the rights that we've needed for a long time.
In the special crimes session earlier this year, some state leaders disagree with that, saying that their concern with this new law lies in the safety of everyone around those who open carry.
So your right to carry a gun should not infringe on my right or my family's right to live safely in a community.
Here in Baton Rouge, BRPD Chief TJ Morse says they've been doing special trainings to properly prepare for situations dealing with this new law.
We've already trained on how do you interact with someone that is legally carrying a concealed firearm. How do you interact with someone that is carrying a firearm just on their hip or have a rifle slung, because Louisiana is an open carry state.
Morse says they've been going into the community trying to stress the importance of gun safety and to never leave one unoccupied.
We want to make sure that they're not leaving it in vehicles that are unlocked, not having them around kids where kids can get around them.
Morse and many others say they still want to encourage residents to still take training classes to be properly equipped.
Having the firearm is one part of the battle. Knowing how to use it and operate it safely and effectively is what can save lives.
Deshaun Johnson, NBC Local 33 News.
A federal judge has struck down President Biden's ban on new natural gas exports. In January, the Biden administration announced a ban on shipping LNG to countries that don't have free trade with the U.S. Following the announcement, Louisiana Attorney General Liz Morrell led a coalition of 16 states in filing the lawsuit to stop the ban. In the ruling, the judge says the Department of Energy's decision to stop exports was without reason or logic. Governor Landry is siding with the Denka chemical plant against an EPA order that Denka must cut its toxic emissions within 90 days. Denka says it can't make that deadline, while the governor says the EPA is anti-jobs. Reporter Zach LaBay has the latest.
We are tired of these politicians, governors, leaders going against us for the industry. Industry are poisoning us. We are the ones that are getting sick, and we are the ones that's dying.
The Environmental Protection Agency ruled that 200 chemical plants nationwide will have to reduce toxic emissions within 2 years. But finding the Denka plant and reserve an imminent and substantial endangerment to the nearby community, the EPA gave the plant a 90-day deadline to change course, or else it may have to shut down. And Denka says that's not possible.
For any plant to be able to implement within the 90 days is completely unrealistic and unreasonable.
But the state is stepping in to give them more time.
Under the authority that is delegated to DEQ, that 2-year extension was granted, And that will give DINCA and its employees the time for the courts to make that decision.
If they cannot comply with the EPA rulings of the 90 days, shut them down so we can live. If they are not shut down, more people will die. They're asking for 2 years to kill us some more? I don't think so.
And Governor Landry sees it as a win to protect industry.
It's my hope that at the end, DINCA comes and tells us how they're going to expand their facility, how they're going to create more jobs, how they're going to build a bigger, better middle class here in St. John Parish.
He want to protect the industry and not the people? Something is wrong with that picture. We are human beings. He needs to stop and look at the life that he's going to lose in Louisiana.